Check out this headline on yahoo.com. Why do I even visit that site? Dogs in Vietnam, not just for dinner anymore. Well, isn't that a relief? Now Maggie and I can finally take our Vietnamese tour. Okay, guys, let's get to the point. Really, I don't know why I visit yahoo.com anymore. But today I'm doing a video response to someone who's given me a question. And speaking of Vietnam, he's also a Southeast Asian. Is that what they call them? What do they call the brown people in this part of the world? You know, coming from a brown person myself. I'm a Peruvian brown person. This guy's, I think he's Indonesian, but his English is really, really good. In fact, it's phenomenal. He could probably speak English, teach English here in Japan. Anyway, he's given me a question, and often when you get questions from people, you know they're really not asking questions. They just want their suspicions confirmed, right? Don't you think it's okay to cheat on my wife if I really love the girl? Or if my wife never finds out? And that kind of crap, you know. But anyway, I'll get to it. The reason I mentioned that is because there was a guy that came on my last video, the one about the stalker things, which I'm surprised it was 17 minutes long, but I went into the history of stalking, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Oh, and by the way, this is going to be another long video, so if you've got any laundry to do or something, then this is the time to do it. You don't have to watch me, because I'm not going to be doing this in this video either, right? Though I will be partaking in the beautiful liquid poison. Yeah, so he said, so I got some Japanese guy who wrote, "Why do you always only make videos about topics like this?" Which, of course, I don't. I've got 3,000 videos on the internet. Most of them are teaching videos. They have nothing to do with death or stalking or anything. But I was like, no, that's not really why. That's not really all I do. But he'd already made up his mind. It was stupid of me to even try to defend myself. And I've decided I'm not going to defend myself anymore. If anyone has any opinion about me, I'm just going to let you, and remind me this. Hey, if that's what you think, then that's what you think. And I've said this before, you know, like Eminem said, you are what I am. No, I always screw that up. I am what you say I am, right? I can't really change your opinion if you've already made one. I can think you're an idiot. And by the way, idiot is one level lower than moron. So let's get to it. So this guy from Indonesia, I believe. By the way, I just saw the new episode of Walking Dead, and I finished up Dexter, disappointing. Well, but it could have been worse. Breaking Bad, great ending. Much better than Sopranos, you know. But anyway, where is this article? His name is Nebiroso21, which I assume is his age. Why else would you at 21? And he's got quite a few videos out, like really dozens and dozens, but almost no subscribers, which is kind of surprising because he's he seems like a fairly intelligent, good-looking brown fella, like myself, fairly intelligent brown, and makes tons of videos. But anyway, these are his questions. Okay, he's from Indonesia, and he's some kind of tour guide and librarian. And the only thing I gotta say is I'm offended that he's drinking coffee during his video. That's a no-no. You should be drinking this or something. Maybe he's Muslim. It's part of his religion. Who knows? I can forgive that. But he just wants to go to Japan as a tourist. Okay. And since I have no friends, as a lot of you know, I had to make this video because he says anyone who answers his video will automatically be my best friend. So I guess we're best friends now. So I'll be hitting you up for some money later and your sister's phone number. Hey, we're best friends, right? You can trust me. So his first question, he's got two questions. The first question is, why do you do what you do? And he's basically talking about, I'm sorry, I should have said this earlier. He's talking to English teachers like myself. And he says, why do you do what you do? Are you genuinely interested? If so, good for you. Or are you in it for the money? Is it an easy way to make a lot of money fast? So, wow. I came to Japan to teach English because I wanted to know if I liked teaching before I went back to college and got my master's and became a professor of English literature, which is my true love. And I do like teaching, genuinely like teaching. there are little things that are annoying about teaching English, and sometimes you're dealing with human beings, and whenever you deal with human beings, you're going to get annoyed sometimes at other human beings. So that's pretty natural. But when it comes to the actual job of teaching, yeah, I like teaching. Am I genuinely interested? I'm interested in, yes, in giving students my knowledge, whatever limited amount I do have. I'm interested in trying to help them speak better. I'm interested in giving them confidence so they can speak English better. So yes, so good for me. So thank you, Neboros, or I forgot your name already, but anyway. Or are you in it for the money? Dude, I'm not in it for the money, and I've often thought to get out of it because there's not that much money in it. But the truth is I enjoy doing it. So I know a lot of people who hate their jobs, and I know a lot of English teachers who do hate being English teachers. And I will say that I'm kind of stuck up about that. I'm like, hey, at least I enjoy my job. And I tell students, other teachers, and when I become friendlier with them, I'm like, they'll tell me about some teacher they had. I'm like, well, to be honest, most teachers don't like their jobs. They don't like it. It's but I mean that isn't to say that English teachers are any worse than any other people. I mean, how many of you on this video right now do you like your job? If you like your job, then put it in the comments. I really want to know, what is your job and do you like it? And make it a real job. Don't make it like you're a pimp or something, right? Because I know you're not a pimp and you don't have a gold Ferrari. So yeah, nobody's in it for the money. There can be quite a bit of money to be made if you become a money hoarding person. Like if you want to save up $10,000 in 6 months, you could do that. If you come over here and just live really really cheaply and just save every penny and do all the privates you can do that. And I've seen people do that. And then you go back with $10,000 to your country and put a down payment down on a house or something. Then boom, there you go. And then he says, I don't want to name any YouTubers, but I assume he's talking to me because he left a comment on my video, and the video had nothing to do with this topic, but there you go. And then the other thing is, did you go to Japan because you like the girls or you like anime? And he says, I doubt anyone's going to admit this. A lot of people admit that. Yeah, there are a lot of guys who are here just for that. I've called them, and I hate to say this expression, but I think it's a pretty good way to describe it, pussy hounds. And they do exist. Guys who seem to have a way with the Japanese women, and they find it easy here, and they find they're suddenly rock stars, and they never had that kind of opportunity or attention back in the States. Me myself, I've always had girlfriends, so, and I don't say that with any pride, because I think my heart suffered from it. I think I wish I'd had less in this, before I came over, or in my life. Anyway, I've talked about this in other videos. That's not what you're asking me about. And it's not a humble brag. It's true. For those guys out there, numbers are not a good thing for you. In the end, your heart will suffer, or your soul, if you have a soul. Okay, so then so he says if you're only over in Japan because of the women or anime fans, you are taking advantage of the system by teaching English. And I gotta disagree. You're taking advantage of the system. You got an opportunity to teach. You don't have to be sincere about your job. You just have to do it well. And you might say, "Oh, well, they're inextricably linked." Is that a word? Inextricably, they're linked, right? Yeah, you could argue that, but I know guys I've had teachers who taught for me who didn't actually enjoy teaching, but they were really good teachers. So I played tennis really well. I never liked tennis. I was a good tennis player, so I don't know. There's a guy on YouTube who I gotta say and I forgot his YouTube name, but Tokyo Jin. Anyway, he's a YouTuber and he's a Japanese guy, and he claims to be straight, which I completely believe, but he kissed a man on camera, apparently for his subscribers, just to show him that he could do it. I don't know. And he gives this other guy a really deep French kiss. And a lot of people give him shit about it, like, oh, you're a fag, blah, blah. But, who cares? The guy did it, and it's fine, it's not a big deal, So he kissed another guy. I mean, I didn't kiss that guy. I didn't put my, I didn't put my tongue down that guy's throat. It's called Tokyo Jin V, and the title of the video is "Did You Dare Me?" And it's pretty shocking, shocking there. But the point is, what was the point? Oh yeah, he doesn't have to be gay to do something well. There's something called acting, you know. You can act. You can be a good teacher and not actually enjoy teaching. So there's that, right? And then he says, here's the other thing. Can you give me statistics as to how many English speakers, how many Japanese speak English well? And I looked it up, and there's not many statistics. Apparently on paper, though, Japan is rated 14. According to Tofugu, a blog that he did, Japan is rated 14th out of 44. So that's not too bad, or as Tofugu says, not too shabby, and I agree. But when it comes to, you know, oral skills, verbal skills, whatever, oral, yeah, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. You can walk around, and a lot of people seem to understand some Japanese. And English, and when you do speak English to them, Japanese to them, even, this is the frustrating part, but some people insist on trying to speak English with you, which is fine. You know, I'm past that stage where I get angry about that, but. So obviously they have some ability, and I'm often surprised at how much English they do know. Actually, they know really weird words sometimes. They wouldn't think they would know, but yeah, there's some ability here. But there are no numbers. So he says, so if we're not, basically, I think his question is, aren't you guys jokes? This is what he's saying. You are all jokes, and you're not getting anything done. So. Why don't you admit it? Is what he's trying to say with this video. That's my feeling. Because he says when I go to Japan, he wants to come here as a tourist, and he goes, I want to know that I won't get lost. And he says, oh, maybe that's why you're teaching English, because you want to help Japanese make sure that tourists don't get lost. And believe me, buddy, that never crossed my mind. Okay, that never crossed my mind. Though I have taught students on how to deal with people who are lost. My intention on teaching English has never been so that Japanese can help foreigners not get lost. I could care less whether you get lost or not in Japan. Sorry, but really, that's not when I'm working. That's you're not even on the back burner there. Not even in the rear view mirror, and nothing. Never thought of it. Never crossed my mind. That seemed like a kind of an egotistical. Claim there. Maybe that's why you're teaching English, to help me. Nope. But yeah, he wants to say, he says, quote, if you are not making a difference, then my only conclusion is a negative one, that you are only entertainers. Well, let's address that. First of all, am I making a difference? I think I am. In fact, I've seen it with my students. I've helped people get jobs. I've drilled them and trained them so they could pass an interview and get a job at Mitsubishi, or actually twice at Mitsubishi. Yeah, and other companies and such, or get really high TOEIC scores so they could go on to college or get in easier. I just had a student who came to me and says, hey, I just got into a PhD program and I didn't have to take thanks to you, my TOEIC score was high enough that I didn't have to take their basic English classes. Like I could opt out of that. So yay. So yeah, I do make a difference. And even if I'm not, even if I weren't the wonderful me that I am, if I were just an average English teacher, you do make a difference. And let's just say that, just to humor you, being you are only entertainers. We need entertainers. That's the reason half of you guys are watching me right now. You're dying to be entertained. And I may not entertain you with song and dance and here I come. That's my porno version. But being an entertainer it's not that bad. When you're a tour guide in your country, right? Nobody needs you either, man. They just get a tour book. I'm sure those tour books are more accurate than most of the tour guides. I know some tour guides. So I mean, if you really come down to it, no one's really necessary. But it's the interaction. It's helping people deal with other people and exposing them, and just being an entertainer. I don't know. Let's say I'm humoring you and we're just entertainers. We're necessary. So some of us may not help you pass the TOEIC test, and some of you may not. Some of us lowly English teachers that I feel you're judging me as, may not, may not. We're not going to change the Japanese educational system, but yeah, we definitely have a purpose here. And the other thing I think you're confused is that there are not that many of us. A lot of high schools, a lot of junior high schools do not have English teachers. But all schools have, pretty much all schools now, on junior high and high, have English, Japanese English teachers, as in non-native. They're learning English in their schools, and I think that attempt at communication failed so badly that I need to take some warm-up classes myself. But the Japanese are learning English even without foreigners here. Can you blame foreigners for the fact that they are not as good as people in other countries? I don't think so. I think the system is kind of screwed, and it's also part of the personality. A lot of English teachers will tell you that one of the biggest problems that we have a lot of us tell you this, that sometimes I don't feel like I'm teaching English. I feel like I'm teaching people how to have a personality, and it isn't that they don't have a personality; it's that they don't know how to express it in English. And a lot of communication, a lot of successful communication, is not actually language based. It doesn't matter how good your grammar or your vocabulary is. It's the way you try to use what you do have and interact with other people, right? Even using gestures, or one of my students today, I have a 65-year-old woman, and today in the middle class, I was trying to help her make a sentence, and she's like, "Oh, I know, I'll say the opposite," which is something I teach students to do all the time. If you don't know how to say something one way, try to say it the opposite way, and maybe you know that vocabulary. You may not know the way to say it in English, in this particular way, but you might know the opposite way to say it, and then use a negative, and you can say what you want to say. So instead of saying, if you don't remember, well, this is a simple example. If you don't remember how to say "I'm hungry," you can say "I want to eat," or which is not exact, or "I am not full." Well, that's not a great example, but you see what I'm saying. There's different ways to say what you want to say. So, or even just gestures. Oh, want, food. Just something like that. You get your point across. So communication's out there, and once the communication starts rolling, see, that's the hard part. I think in Japan, is that a lot of people get stuck. The gears just get jammed, and they get stuck, and they can't move. The gears don't move forward, even at a slow pace. Sometimes they just stop. So that's the one thing we need to help Japanese people with. But yeah, I guess that's my answer. You guys can watch this video. He's I kind of like the way he speaks and everything, but with this video, since I've only seen one, my impression is kind of an asshole. Wanting to, for some, and the funny thing is, like, he's like, I don't really care about this, but I just want to confirm, you guys are like losers, right? That's basically what I got out of that video. But thanks for the video. Thanks for the question. And you gave me this chance to respond. So until next time, everyone, keep being what you're being, and keep trying to do the little you can do to make a difference in this world, and not be, so no one will make a video about you. Don't be just an entertainer. Bye, guys. I'm just a gigolo, and everywhere I go, la 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 la. Woo! Look at the 11 colors! Got it!